Hi guys, it's Carly, and today we're here with Michael Rowe, Deadshot on CW's Arrow and guest at the NC Comic-Con Bull City. Thank you for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
So let's get to the hard questions first. So spoiler alert, Deadshot dies in season 3.
Does he though?
That's the question and what everybo's speculating.
I prefer to phrase it, a building blew up around Deadshot in that season.
There was no body found.
He's a resilient dude.
So are we going to see him back in season 6?
If I told you, I'd have to kill you.
Okay. Well, we last saw him in season 5, but it turned out to be a hallucination.
I rather enjoyed that. I enjoyed people's reactions to that.
How did you keep that a secret?
You know, Arrow's kind of come into its own. You get people kind of trotting around set trying to take photos, but that one was done in a studio, so it was pretty easy to keep that one under wraps.
Yeah, it was a big shock.
Yeah.
I was so excited.
But it was, the thing that got me was reading the script.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, hey, we need you to do this, take a look, and I'm like, oh baby, he's back. And
Yeah,
then
and
it even got me reading it.
Got you excited,
And then when I got
yeah.
to set, David Ramsey's like the same thing. He's like, man, when I got to the end of that scene and I read his hallucination, I was like, what the hell?
I know, it was such a good episode.
But I have, I guess, a selfish sense of humor, and I enjoyed the fans going, he's back! What? You know, like that. I was with it.
Yeah, we're definitely hoping to see our favorite villain back in season 6, so we'll see.
Okay.
Deadshot is such a major role in the DC universe. How did you prepare to be Deadshot?
You know what? When I did the audition, they told me I was auditioning for an army sniper named Finn.
Oh.
So
you had
I had
clue.
no idea.
Okay.
And I sort of started the character from there, just as this sort of broken guy who is obviously devoted all his time becoming the best shot.
Best sniper, yeah.
So I just started to look at other people who were the best at what they do and how you have to make sacrifices in your life and put it as number one, and then everything else takes a back step. It started there. Then when I found out, I mean, I showed up to do wardrobe, and they start giving me eye patches or, you know, scopes to put on and all these guns and showing me comic books, and it kind of threw me for a loop. I thought they were messing with me. I thought they had the wrong guy. Everybody started calling me Deadshot. I'm like, no, I'm Finn. I'm playing Finn. So, you know, then I did read about his backstory, what happened to him. I went off of the origin story that he accidentally killed his brother, and it sort of sent him on that spiral of insanity from there, because there's always a reason why. People aren't just
villain is villain.
Yeah, people aren't born bad. That'd be boring. So you got to find out why. But then I also knew Arrow was trying to structure this unique sort of universe, really dark, but more based in reality than a lot of comic book stuff we'd seen on TV before. So I just went off the scripts and tried to build an organic character. They, you know, let me sort of run with it.
Yeah, so how did you kind of make Deadshot your own?
I would say by digging into all the stuff about myself I didn't want to look at.
Okay.
There's a lot of that went on.
Yeah.
But then when I started to see the performances, I would say he's kind of like a little bit Rowdy Roddy Piper, the wrestler, a little bit the Fonz from Happy Days, and a little bit
the villain you
and a little bit Henry
hate,
Rollins and Iggy Pop from music, because these were always like hardcore dudes that I paid attention to as a kid. So that like leaks in there without you even really knowing it. So I can see that they've been a little bit of an influence. But it's so fun to play the bad guy, I gotta say.
So what is the hardest part of playing a villain? Is it hard? Is it fun?
It's hard because of the emotional stuff, right? Because you gotta load up on that, but then you get to ignore it, and you get to sort of remove your filter. So you end up being able to say and do all the things that people might think about but never actually do.
So since season 3, what kind of things have you been up to?
Well, I traded in the guns for some swords and started working with another comic book company called Valiant, doing their first live action project. It's called Ninjak versus the Valiant Universe.
Do you want to talk a little bit about Ninjak and what it's about?
Sure. Ninjak is he's still, I wouldn't say he's still a really great guy. Like, he's not a hero, but he's definitely more of a hero than Deadshot is. He is sort of a operative for MI6. He's British intelligence. He comes from a long line of that. His parents were involved in it. But he's similar to Deadshot in that he's had a really messed up childhood, and it sort of left its toll. But he becomes, again, one of the world's most effective assassins, but he works for the good guys. He's kind of, I guess, if like James Bond was ninja by night. That's what Colin King is.
That's cool.
Sort of, he turns into Ninjak to do the missions. But, you know, British aristocratic playboy Yeah, he's got all those sort of qualities. So he's fun to play as well.
That sounds awesome.
Deadshot kind of perches up on a rooftop and starts taking people out. He mixes it up a little bit on the show, but man, this playing Ninjak, it's just constant fights, fighting
awesome.
like people.
That must be fun to film.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I had to train pretty hard for it, but I enjoy that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoyed doing a lot of the stunts and all the fight choreography and stuff like that. The people we worked with on the show, Alvin Singh was a main fight choreographer, and we started doing stuff like trying to get fight scenes in one big take, like 25 moves and without cutting, which Arrow's like cuts constantly, So it was really fun to put that time into it. I guess it's kind of like a dance, and you want to get it beginning to end perfectly.
Fight dance,
Yeah, fight dance.
Yep. And so I also heard that you're really into music and you have your own band, correct?
Yeah, I played music for a long time before I even had a glimmer of trying acting. After the band broke up, I was the drummer in the band. And I was like, well, what the hell am I going to do now? I kind of pictured it like the Rolling Stones, just riding that puppy into the sunset. I loved it. It still is my favorite thing to do. I'll always feel like a musician at heart. I grew up in a place north of here, an island in the Atlantic Ocean called Newfoundland, off the coast of Canada.
Yep.
My grandfather owned a music store, so music wasn't really a choice.
Yeah.
I have 4 brothers. We all played in bands growing up, and there was not a drummer in the family yet, so I decided to pick that up. And my dad was in a bluegrass band. My pop owned the Irish music store, so of course I started playing heavy metal and punk rock just as a rebellious kid. I'm like, I'm doing the opposite of whatever you guys are doing. I fell in love with it, and like I said, I did it for a long time. Oddly enough, then when the band broke up, my youngest brother, who's also a drummer, he got me interested in acting. He wanted to be a director. He was sort of just beginning to write some stuff and film some stuff. I moved from the East Coast to the West Coast to hang out with him. We started filming comedy stuff, and I was like, man, this is my new favorite thing to do. And it was really interesting how, like all the things I'd learned through music, I was able to apply. So it wasn't like a reset, You're trying to get emotions across, tell stories. One is just through rhythms, and the other.
So do you think you'll ever go back to music, or?
Yeah, I mean, anytime I get the opportunity, I'm always up for playing music. I was just in Nashville about a month and a half ago. I got on stage and played some drums there.
Yeah.
I was in New Zealand about a year and a half ago. Got on stage, played some drums there. Every time I'm home in Newfoundland, get the band back together, so to speak. Like usually just my brothers and stuff like that, and we'll play music. But doing it full time again, we'll see. I don't know. I definitely got the itch as of late to do something, but it's so hard to just slug it out on the road, So we'll see. I'm really enjoying acting right now. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. I started playing drums when I was 6. It was kind of as easy as walking and talking to me, to express myself through playing the drums.
So this is a little bit of a challenge.
This is a challenge. This is a big challenge.
You need a challenge once in a while.
Yeah, you always need a challenge. It's time to evolve,
So this weekend is NC Comic-Con. This isn't your first rodeo. You've been at Comic-Cons before. What's your favorite part about Comic-Con?
My favorite part is stuff like this. I get to sort of tell people my journey of how I got from this kid stuck on an island to playing a superhero on a TV show. I feel like kids get fired up about that, especially when I go somewhere like New Zealand, and I feel like they're stuck on an island too.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you're not. You might have to leave home for a bit, but you can always go home.
You can be a villain.
Yeah, you can be a villain too, kids.
Yep.
You want to beat people up in front of a camera for money? You can do it too.
So what is it like when you see people at Comic-Con dressed up as Deadshot?
Yeah, it's kind of a trip.
Yeah.
I would like to get some kind of like psychological profile of what world that fits into when someone sort of plays the character to meet the guy who they see on the show play the character, but they want to meet him as himself and get to know who the guy is behind the character while they are the character. Like, that kind of turns my brain inside out. Yeah. I'm sure there's some sort of...
I'm sure you have a lot of double takes as they walk by, and you're like, what?
I mean, they're always just so excited to show you their costume, and man, some of them are good.
Yeah,
like,
they really are.
Put a lot
of
time
hard.
and effort into that, and that's an art form in itself. So it's really fun. What it has done, though, is it's really taken the luster out of Halloween. This year, during Halloween, I was like, I don't feel like dressing up. Like,
You always have Comic-Con to look forward
I'm
to.
going to Comic-Con
Yeah.
next weekend, and I just came from one, so. But that's fine. I'd rather make that trade, have it Halloween every day.
Okay, so last question. We're really happy that you're a part of the CW family. What is it like being a part of the CW family and working with such great actors and meeting awesome people?
Yeah, I mean, everybody on that show, not just Arrow. I mean, I've been on an episode of The Flash. I've met a lot. I've done a lot of these events. One of the other my favorite parts about doing cons is that you get to meet people from your own show and your own universe that you've never had a chance to work with or meet on set. Become really good friends with them. Hang out, get to know even the people that you work with outside of work. You know, you don't get a lot of. I mean, it's so hard. You do like 16-hour days on the show. It's not like you're going out for beers after. You're like, I need to grab 6 hours sleep while I can. I'll see you in the morning, and then you're back in character again. So sometimes you shoot crap in between takes and stuff, but people are pretty, focused on trying to stay in it and learn their lines and stuff like that a lot of time. So coming to these cons really helps bring that family closer together. But I know everybody has bled on these sets. It's really hard work, and I really respect everybody. So I think that also brings the team closer together. So the CW family's been good to me.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for meeting with us today, and this was a great interview.
Awesome. Yeah.
Hope you have a great time at Comic-Con.
I'm sure I will.